We rise together. We rise together. Rise Mzansi, rise. Rise Mzansi, rise. Rise Mzansi, rise. Thank you. Thank you very much for coming here to highlight this very important issue. And what I'm going to focus on is what we are asking the private and public sectors to work with the rest of society on. But I'm also going to give a bit of background because I think it is very, very important. Unemployment is high in South Africa, as we know. Our brothers and sisters don't have work. And there are many people within our economy who take advantage of especially young people who are looking for work. Some are looking for work as security guards, some are looking for work as cashiers, some are looking for work in other positions. And two things happen to people. One, they are asked to pay a bribe in order to get a job. And these are done by people who may work for companies or municipalities, or people who are working with municipalities and companies, retail companies, mining companies. Some of them are councillors. What we are saying is that these practices are there. And it is possible that many of the companies and employers don't know that these practices are going, but the job of Rise Mzansi is to highlight these issues because they happen to people. The second thing is that there are men out there who prey on young women who are looking for work. Yes. And they ask them both for money and also that they sleep with them. Yes. After which they don't even give them the job that they promised them. Or they use this to continue to threaten them, to continue to sleep with them. Otherwise, they're going to get fired. These are issues that we cannot hide anymore, but that is what is behind what we are asking for today. So I want to thank the representatives that have come out to receive this memorandum, and I am going to read it so that everybody knows what is contained. We are not fighting with companies. We are not fighting with municipalities. We are not saying destroy them. We are saying we need to have an economy that is inclusive, where the employment practices are fair and they particularly protect women, not only on Women's Day, not only on Women's Month, but every single day, so that there is no special disadvantage that you get because you are a woman, or a special disadvantage that you get because you cannot afford to pay someone a bribe for you to get a job. So, the demands read as follows, that the people of South Africa, through this memorandum of demands directed at the JSE companies, SALGA, the SA Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the government executive and parliament. So it's all the employers out there that we demand the following: that the government and the private sectors commit to investigating how common these practices are, because people tell us about them every day. The government must be proactive in fact-finding through anonymous questionnaires and tip-off boxes. This will also root out the syndicates of labor brokers and shady recruiters who are be able to report them to the police for further investigation. So you can't get rid of what you don't understand and what you do not investigate. Secondly, the practices of cash and sex for jobs to be codified in the private sector businesses as well as in local government. That means it must be specified in policies that it is a dismissible offense whether you work for the company or you are a contractor. If you are found to have engaged in that practice, you must be fired immediately. This is not just about recognition in criminal and labor law, but in the organizational culture of the companies themselves. Thirdly, that SALGA in particular adopt a zero-tolerance approach to these practices and root out the criminals in local councils. That the job advertisements must include a visible disclaimer that the applicant does not need to pay over any form of compensation to apply for the job. The public and private sectors to work together to educate citizens of their rights when searching for employment or for promotion. And that sex for jobs practices be placed at the forefront of the fight against gender-based violence in and out of the workplace. And finally, the schemes known as cash for jobs or sex for jobs no longer be ignored and left to become institutionalized and become common in the workplaces, and yet we pretend that they are not happening. When we started the Rise Mzansi journey, we said we are not going to wait for an election before we raise issues. We're not going to wait until we get to Parliament before we raise issues. Anything that is bothering South Africans today, we must tackle it today. We must go to the relevant stakeholders today, not tomorrow, not in June, so that we can begin the work of fixing the problem that are affecting South Africans in all 9 provinces. The practice of people paying money they don't have for jobs in local councils and to contracting companies must come to an end. And the only way we can do that is if all of the employers work together and work with law enforcement and work with whistleblowers and whistleblower channels so that these people can be identified and rooted out of the system, and we can create a fair employment system. Rise Mzansi, rise! Rise! Rise Mzansi, rise! Rise! So we're just going to ask the representative to sign the memorandum, and then I will also countersign on behalf of Rise Mzansi, and trust that the message will be transmitted throughout all of the companies that subscribe to the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, and similarly will happen with other employer organizations. Yes.
So that you know
Yeah? Oh, I must sign.
Oh, yeah, rising. Oh, yeah, rising. Irima kwala acheche. Kwala acheche. Acheche lemura. Oh, yeah, rising. Oh, yeah, rising.
You can literally say thank you for this, I'll send them on. You don't need to say anything big, okay? Yeah. No, unless you feel like you need to say something. Okay. Sorry? Oh.
My name is Boyoli. I am the Director of Marketing at JSE. I just want to say thank you so much for coming through to shine a spotlight on this serious offense and crucial matter. We at the JSE believe that companies should always behave with integrity and adopt fair practices when they are recruiting or placing people in jobs. And moreover, it is important that job seekers who, as you say, are vulnerable and desperate, are always treated with respect and left with their dignity intact. So it is in this vein that we accept this memorandum, and we will discuss it internally to decide the best course of action. I should like to thank you all for coming through. We do hear you. Thank you.
Rise Mzansi, rise! Rise Mzansi, rise! I just want to say thank you because it's a very important matter. I know it's election time, but we've made a promise to South Africans that we're not going to wait until we are in Parliament. If there is an opportunity to talk to stakeholders in the economy to get rid of a problem, that we work together and we put pressure on the bad guys that they do not continue. We will not wait for the election. Thank you very much for receiving our memo. Thank you.